Oh, the imam. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace be upon all of you. And I would like to start with a verse of the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. This verse emphasizes on the importance of justice and to forbid oppression. And this is why we're here today, to spread the justice and to reject oppression in all forms of it. Honorable legislators, community leaders, and fellow Minnesotans, my name is Imam Yusuf Abdullah, and I'm the Executive Director of Islamic Association of North America, an umbrella organization for 39 Islamic centers across the United States, including 17 centers here in Minnesota. Today we gather at the state capital, not only to celebrate Somali Day, but to stand with clarity, courage, and conviction against a growing challenge, which is Islamophobia. Over the past 4 years, Minnesota, our home state, known for its values of inclusion, fairness, has witnessed a troubling rise of Islamophobic incidents. Over 40 mosques and Islamic centers have been targeted in our state in recent years. Let that sink in. Places of worship, places of peace, places where families gather have been vandalized, threatened, and attacked. These are not isolated incidents. They are part of a broader pattern fueled by misinformation, fear, and increasingly hostile rhetoric, both here in Minnesota and across our nation. Words matter. Where harmful narratives about Muslims are repeated, whether in media, politics, or casual conversation, they do not stay as words. They translate into actions. They shape perceptions. They create an environment where an entire community can feel unsafe, unwelcome, and unfairly judged. If Islamophobia is left unchanged and unchallenged, the consequences are serious. It divides neighbors, it undermines trust in the institutions, it marginalizes our youth, and ultimately it weakens the very fabric of our society. Because a state that allows one group to be targeted, it's a state where no one's dignity is truly secure. But Minnesota can and must do better. So what is the path forward? First, education. We must invest in accurate, inclusive education about Muslims and Muslim communities. Ignorance is the root of fear, and knowledge is its cure. Second, accountability. Hate crimes and discrimination must be taken seriously, reported, and prosecuted. Silence is not neutrality, it is a permission. Third, community engagement. We must create spaces for Minnesotans to allow all backgrounds meet and learn and build relationships. People who are from all backgrounds to meet, learn, and build relationships. Fear decreases when people know one another. Fourth, responsibility leadership. To our elected and appointed officials, and this is very, very important, your voices matter. When you speak out against Islamophobia clearly and consistently, you set a tone for the entire state. When you pass policies that protect civil rights, and ensure equity. You turn values into action. We are not asking for a special treatment. We are asking for equal dignity, equal protection, and equal opportunity. The Somali and Muslim communities of Minnesota are not outsiders. We are part of the story of this state. We're business owners, healthcare workers, educators, students, and public servants. We contribute, we build, and we belong. Let today not be just be a celebration, but a commitment to confront hate wherever it appears, a commitment to stand together, not divided by fear, but united by justice. Thank you so much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Well, good morning. I'm Senator Jim Abler from Anoka, just here on behalf of Somalis. I do not understand how individuals cannot appreciate the depth of the culture that they bring and the great contributions of so many, from the highest trained to the person just starting out with their career. My faith defines me, and Jesus is my master, and he teaches me to love my neighbor. And so to me, the Somalis are my neighbor. This morning I was reading the book of Isaiah. Curiously enough, just very echoing of the Imam, talks about loosening, Isaiah 58, loose the chains of injustice, share your food with the hungry, provide the poor wanderer with shelter, satisfy the needs of the oppressed, and light will rise in the darkness. And I think the acts of a few have confused many people about what a Somali is. A Somali is us. And they come here, many came just to survive and not die in their home country, and they come now for other reasons. But my family were immigrants as well. The last group came from Ireland, and then in the early 1900s because they were hungry in the potato famine. And so I embrace my neighbors and my friends and my brothers and my sisters as we all try to make Minnesota run better. And that's my commitment as my voice and me as an individual. And so I say welcome to my fellow human beings. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Abdisalam Mumin, last name M-U-M-I-N, first name A-B-D-I-S-A-L-A-M. I'm an attorney here in the state of Minnesota. Today is a meaningful gathering. It is a moment where the Somali American community of Minnesota demonstrates not only its presence, but its profound importance to the fabric of this state. I wanted to briefly speak about the rule of law. As we all know, political rhetoric towards the Somali American community has been degrading and dehumanizing, calling an entire community garbage. But that rhetoric doesn't give a license to rampant hatred or discrimination towards a specific demographic. It does not void constitutionally protected rights, such as due process under the 5th and 14th Amendment. Because no matter how one is perceived, one's rights remain intact. It certainly does not mean that media outlets, such as those of you that are here today, can create a narrative that casts a suspicion on the community, essentially leading others to overgeneralize and cause irreparable harm. The power to inform must never become the power to inflame. The rule of law is unconditional. It does not bend to anger. It does not yield to fear. It stands firm. Those who perpetuate hate, they will never prevail. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Today, as we celebrate Somali Day and Somali freedom from colonial oppression in a broader sense, we must recognize that the fight for belonging, dignity, and citizenship is more than just history. It's alive right here, right now in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Yes. You stand in the legacy of the civil rights greats. You have given blood. You have lost lives. You have lost jobs. You have sacrificed your economic income when you came here looking for safety and security. That puts you firmly in the lineage of the civil rights greats, the Dr. Kings, the Thurgood Marshalls, the Jesse Jacksons, the Frederick Douglasses. You're in that legacy and in that lineage. When the Constitution was adopted by this country, it applied only to the richest and whitest landowners in the country. 6% of the country was enfranchised. Not women, not Irish, not Asians, not the enslaved. It was not until 1964, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, that in 1965, enfranchisement came for women, 51% of the country, African Americans, 14% of the country, the tremendous immigrant community. So it wasn't until 1965 that 80% of the country benefited from the work of that civil rights legacy. Today, my Somali brothers and sisters, for the blood you've given, for the hope that you've endured, you are in that legacy and in that lineage. You must now take it and make sure that we don't end up, as we did in 1877 and 1878, the end of our Reconstruction from 1965. My father, Reverend Jesse Jackson, believed in America's greatness. He believed in lifting up the least of these. His life was a testament to faith, courage, and relentless hope. He taught us to keep hope alive, even when the past seemed impossible. He and his generation have passed that legacy to us, and we must pick that legacy up. It's our turn to carry on the fight for freedom, dignity, and citizenship. Somali Minnesotans and all immigrants are not just asking for belonging. You're insisting on full citizenship, dignity, full enfranchisement, equal rights. You're part of this country, and you belong here. The country is better with you. The blood that binds us is stronger than the oceans that have ever separated us. And so we must join in coalition with the Rainbow Push Coalition and its advocates and our brothers and sisters. We must turn to each other, not on each other, find work in our common ground with Somali people and Minnesota people and African Americans and Asians and Latinos. Belonging is a right and defended at the ballot box. Yes. It is not a gift. You must give your blood, and you have done so. The bridge from Selma to Minnesota is a living legacy, and that's why we took busloads of Minnesotans down to cross the bridge and baptize themselves in the River Jordan of our country, the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma. But it's not enough to just rely on your hope. We must work. We must convert pain to power, organize, mobilize, and find ourselves taking this opportunity to win the ballot box in November. We must export the great sense and triumph of your work and your hope in Minneapolis throughout the rest of the country to the frontline states and win the ballot box. The rest of the country is fearing a dark night. But weeping may endure for a night, but as you've taught, joy comes in the morning. And that joy comes when you pick up your rod that God gave you, use that blessing, and inspire other people to make it to the ballot box in November. Nothing would be worse than to make the Minnesota story an insular idiosyncrasy of our world. You must take this and expand this and extrapolate it across the country so that we can win in November and make change permanent in our country. Thank you very much.